Hey everyone, it's Dion with 91 Cravings and welcome back to the channel. We're here for another video. Today I'm here to show you that I finally learned how to make candy apples. Yes, I finally conquered my arch nemesis, which was candy apples. And you want to know why they was my arch nemesis? Because every time I tried to make them, I messed up. I would keep burning the candy mixture, overcooking it, not knowing what to do properly. But I recently took a class by a good friend, and that good friend is a buddy of mine named Lykendra, aka Sweet Kenn Treats. She's a fellow treats maker just like me, and she teaches a candy apple dipping class. And I decided to go to her because she gets a lot of good reviews, and she had a decent price for her class, and so I checked it out. And she's a very good teacher. She showed me what I was doing wrong, which was, it was really the simplest thing, because we breezed through the class very, very easily. Matter of fact, here go a couple clips from the class right here.
Girl, you can talk. Best teacher.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
So yes, those were the clips from the class. The class was fun. Me dipping candy apples was a success, and now I'm about to pass on the same knowledge to you all. And of course, you know, I did get the okay from her first, because since this was her class, you know, I didn't want to mess anything up for her, but she said that it was perfectly fine because the candy apple recipe that she gave me is really the most basic candy apple recipe there is, and she said that's why it's fine. Everyone should know it. But one of the main reasons why she teaches the class is for people like me who were attempting to do the candy apples, but they kept failing. So whether you want to learn right off the bat or you keep having unsuccessful attempts, she's here to teach you here in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm gonna post all of her info down in the description below, so y'all go check her out. So the supplies that you'll need for this video are this. You're gonna need 6 Granny Smith apples, apple sticks, a medium-sized pot, corn syrup, your candy thermometer, spatula, sugar, measuring cups, Wilton's white color icing, food coloring, and whatever color that you choose your apples to be. And so for today's video, I'm going to do red and purple. As you can see, my apples are already prepped. And the prep method for getting your apples ready for doing candy apples is you take a big pot of water, you get it to boiling, and I like to add in apple cider vinegar to help eat up the wax off the apples. But you dip the apples in 1 to 2 at a time for 10 to 15 seconds so that the hot water can start eating off the wax. And then you take your candy apples, you stick them onto a sheet tray, and you let them sit for at least 24 hours so that all the wax can properly seep off of the apples. Because if you try to do it before that, the apples still really won't have all the wax off, and then when you try to go dip your candy apples, the candy mixture won't stick or it'll bubble up. So when dipping your candy apples, she taught me that it's best to dip them from the bottom up, well, I'm sorry, bottom down. So you stick your candy apple stick in, because doing this, you get a more even candy apple, and also you don't gotta try to cover this big space with the candy filling. You just gotta worry about the small space up here. For this recipe, here are the measurements that you are going to need. You're gonna need 3 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water, and then next is ½ a cup of light corn syrup. And now here goes a little small tip that I learned from watching other YouTube videos. If you don't want your corn syrup to stick to the inside of the measuring cup, just spray just a little bit of a non-stick cooking spray, and the corn syrup will come right on out. So pour this in. One teaspoon of Wilton's white icing coloring. This is the best one to use, because if you try to use any other brand, the white food coloring will make like little flecks flecks inside the candy coat, and you don't want that. Wilton's white icing works the best. You do 1 teaspoon, And you start off with white icing because it helps create the base for your color. Because if you just straight up go pouring in color, it's going to become translucent and you will see through the candy mixture. So once you have that in, you take your spatula and you give this all a good mix first. Sorry everyone, as you can see, my mic, the audio started messing up. But right here we are adding in the preferred color food coloring choice that you want. And as you can see, I went with super red because the first flavor was going to be fruit punch. And that's usually what is associated with red. So we are adding in the coloring right here. I began to stirring up. And now depending on which color you want, certain colors takes a lot more work, especially the darker colors like red and purple. If you really want those dark colors, it takes more food coloring. So you just gotta learn how to work with it. And as you can see, it's starting to get darker and darker, and I start to add a little bit more. Start mixing that in, and I start getting the true dark red that I really want. And now it's time to get to cooking it. So place it on the stove, put your heat on a medium to high heat, about right there. And you stick your candy thermometer in, make sure that it's not touching the bottom of it, because if it touches the bottom, the temperature will be off. So about right there is good. And you're gonna let this go until it reaches 300 degrees. Once it reaches 300 degrees, you're gonna remove it from the heat. Quick tip, in that area right there between 250 and 300, the temperature of the candy mixture, it will trick you right there, because that's honestly what was happening to me. I thought my thermometer was broke or something, but it wasn't. What it is, the temperature will sit right there for a minute or two, and then from out of nowhere, it will jump up to 300, and that's the part you got to watch out for, because if you don't pay attention to that, you will overcook your candy mixture and you will burn it. So if you ever see that it's sitting between 250 and 300, it'll be okay. Just pay attention for when it shoots up to 300. Now, while the candy mixture is starting to cook, I'm going to explain to you the flavorings that I'm going to be using by Lorraine, or Lorraine, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I butchered the words. Yes, I'm going to be using grape for the purple and fruit punch for the red. And so now they're called drums, and these small bottles, you would pour the whole bottle in there. When you get the bigger bottles, you got to know how to use your eye to pour in the right amount you need. Some flavors take more while some take less. But it's best to really work with these small bottles, because these small bottles will do you one order of candy apples, which is usually about 6. All right, and another tip that I learned, if you ever get a flavor and it has the word oil next to it, like lime oil or lemon oil, yes, those give out good flavors for like that, but with the word oil, you gotta be careful. If you put too much, and this happened to me, your stuff gonna end up smelling like pine sol, as if you just cleaned the whole house. So pay attention to that. And when you are adding in your flavors always go in at the end after the candy mixture gets done cooking. This is what I wanted to show you guys. You see how it's done kind of just stop right there? Don't be afraid when you see that, just be patient and pay attention to it. It's all done. That is when you pour in your flavoring at the very end. Give it a quick mix. It's gonna bubble up a little bit, but that's fine. This fruit punch flavor smells so good. And then you tilt the pot and you start dipping. Now, depending on how deep or small your pot is, getting the top filled a lot like that sometimes isn't going to always happen, but that's fine. You shake it, make sure you drip off all excess, turn it upside down. Like, do not be afraid to shake this thing. And you place it onto your silicone mat. And you just repeat the process. With the red's all done, we're gonna go ahead and get started on our grape apples. And when it comes to cleaning out your pot, this is what you do. You take the pot, you fill it up with water, and you boil it. You bring it to a rolling boil, and that is gonna eat up all the candy and break it down so that you can easily clean out your pot. All right, so same steps as before. Pour in the flavoring. It's gonna bubble up soon. Stir it up. And now we dip it.
The candy apples are all done, and don't they look amazing? The fruit punch and the grape. Ooh, matter of fact, hold on, let me show y'all up close how this look. You see how smooth that is? You see the shine to it? That's a good dip candy apple right there. You see that sparkle to it? And now let me show you how the red looks up close. And this is what I was talking about letting the bubbles calm down before dipping, or that'll cause that golf ball looking effect right there.
If you're concerned about not completely covering the apples, to make sure you find the right size pot for when you dip, it'll submerge the whole apple. Or if you want to, and even Kendra has suggested this, do double the recipe so that you can have enough, no matter what pot you're in, when you dip, it'll completely submerge it. Well, all right, everyone, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and I hope you learned from it. And if you do decide to go make some candy apples after seeing this video, hey, send the pictures to me and I will gladly share them on my Instagram page, because I love to see when y'all are able to go do what I do and it turns out magnificent. And I'm also show Kendra, and I know she'll be extremely proud too. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.